back to another anime episode review. I am the Rat, and this is a Rat's Nest. I'm joined as always by Kyle. Say hi, Kyle.
Hello, everybody.
Today we are back once again the Rising of the Shield Hero Season 3, Episode 6. Much better than Episode 5 in my opinion. But we're going to talk about the episode. That's the point of this video, isn't it, Kyle?
That's the point of most of these videos.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Me when we talk about the episode, that's insane. Anyway, so to get right into it, Kyle, what did you think about this episode?
It was.
Or would
fine.
you like me to give my thoughts first?
You can give your thoughts first.
So, I enjoyed this episode. I like Rin as a character. This is obviously Rin's episode, right? This is the episode of Rin's episode. And I enjoyed it. I don't think that it has hit the peak of season 3 as to some episodes that we've seen, because there were some moments that I was like, could have done that better. But also at the same time, I liked the pacing and structure of this episode a lot more compared to the last episode, because like this episode was like cohesive from beginning to end. It was cohesive. I really liked that as opposed to last episode and everything. Yeah, I think that they could have explained a couple of things better, and maybe shown a couple of things better. But all in all, I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with this episode from the light novel perspective, I guess.
And from the anime only perspective, I agree with a lot of what you said. Like it, because I said this off recording, but it's not anywhere near as quote unquote bad like the third and fifth episode, but I didn't enjoy it as much as the others. The main thing is for me personally, right? Like while what you said is true, how it was better paced and there was more intrigue there and it held my attention more, I just don't give a shit about Ren. Like I as a viewer do not really care about Ren. I appreciate though that they're trying something with him. Like this seems like the other heroes season so far. Like they're doing more with the other heroes, a lot more than season 2, and I do appreciate that. It's just I don't care about Ren, like at all, and that's just a personal thing. That's not like there are things I would argue on more objective grounds, but this is just like personally I don't like Ren. I'm not a fan of him. What they're doing with him just seems like a little version of what happened with Nafumi in season 1, where he gets betrayed. Well. I won't say that. I'll say like
it is different.
Episode.
It is.
Yeah,
I would even argue that it's quite different.
That's why.
Aside from the stuff with bitch, which
I don't.
That's
why I stopped myself because it's. Yeah. In this episode, it sets that up, but I will say it. While I'm not a fan of Ren, and I made jokes at him, and I said really mean things about him, and during the episode, Brandon can confirm that I did. I do appreciate the fact that it is different from what Nafumi's gone through, and that they're at least trying it's something unique, right? And we could talk about this more when we talk about the episode itself, but it's like, oh, okay, he legitimately just thought to himself, this is like a video game world. If I just do what I think is right, everything will be fine. And when things weren't fine, he couldn't handle the pressure, and it got to him, and he just went into a state of like self-denial. And you know, this episode is kind of the boiling point of that. So it was a good episode.
Yeah. So
except for me not liking Ren. That's my general thoughts before we get into the specifics.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think especially coming from the light novel reader perspective of me on this episode versus the anime only perspective. Yeah, no, I don't remember exactly, because like I said, it's been 5 years or something plus since I read this light novel. But definitely liking the heroes takes some warming up to. Motoyasu's the easiest because he's hilarious.
He is funny. I will say.
Motoyasu's the easiest to come around to. But no, it definitely is a transition. Especially I would say I really like what they do with Ren's character. I would even say that it's good. I would say that how they handle Ren's character is good writing. I would argue that. Except for, I mean, it's not really his fault, everything with Bitch, but I just kind of dislike Bitch, not even like in like a, oh, she's such a great antagonist that I dislike her, but just in like a, just shut up kind of way. Like, that's a different thing. But other than her, I really like how what they do with Ren, but it is definitely a transition. How he was portrayed before to now.
There are two things I want to say on that.
Yeah.
One, I would probably agree with you, even though like I'm trying to recognize here that like it is good what they're doing. I would call that good writing. You know,
I'll explain it in detail, but yeah.
It's something in Shield Hero that's like engaging and holding my attention, and it's like someone who's not antagonist, but like someone going through a dark phase that's pretty interesting. And the other thing I was going to say is I do think it'll be hard to warm up to the other heroes because I wouldn't even say like, I'm not going to call it a redemption arc right now, but in trying to make the viewer warm up to them, I feel like I'm in one of those phases right now, transition, where it's like, I'm still hesitant. Like they're trying to, like in this episode, they try to make him out to be like, oh, you're not such a bad guy. You're just going through a rough patch here. But it's like, I'll probably look back on, I'll make this call right now. I'll probably look back on an episode like this and like think more positively about it once I see more of Ren. Yeah. But
because it's very hard to disconnect like what I know of Ren and how I know Ren.
Yeah,
like, what I knew of Ren at this point. That's a very hard disconnect. I quite like Ren. But so let's get into the episode proper then.
And if I remember right, it starts with because in the end of the last episode, like I legitimately just had the last episode kind of phased out of my mind. I spent most of like the first third just trying to remember the last episode. It ended with them encountering Naofumi encountering Ren in the woods during their little training thing. And then we get a little flashback of what happened around, it was episode 4, like the 4th episode, where they encountered him at the place with Bitch, and when he runs away with her, and he's like,
the first half is basically Ren's backstory. So we see like, okay, we see back into his old world, he played the game. The game was, we had a little discussion about this. So the game is like the exact same as Shield Hero's world.
Which is really, okay, that is a really weird thing.
Like, it's weird, but like at the same time, like there's no other explanation for it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like, like it doesn't outright explicitly say that like, oh, the game was a way to transport whatever. Like, it doesn't explicitly say that, but that's if it was the exact same as the Shield Hero world, it's kind of intentional. I definitely think that's the case, but
the one thing I like that it plays into is it adds more to Ren's failure about it. Like, whenever he loses the Spirit Horse or whatever, it's like, it's not like he just went in haphazardly and lost. He's like, I thought I was prepared for this. Like, we were supposed to be level 60. Like, we were level 80. We should have like been able to do this. And then he started just giving into all this like self-denial and like, no, it wasn't my fault. It was their fault. They were too weak, and just trying to like push away all the responsibility what happened because it was his mistake. He assumed, because the game was like this, we'll be fine, without really giving proper care to the fact that this is another world and these are like actual human lives I have in my hands. He just thought of it as ones and zeros when he saw people just like dying in blood.
And I mean, well, and that was his whole character arc throughout season 1 too. Is that we see how the different heroes see the world.
Yeah, because what is it? Whenever he killed that dragon, it like that corpse spread a poison to a village, right?
Plague started disease.
Whoa, plague!
Pretty based. That's a cool dragon. And so I really like it, and we get to see him have to, I think that's something that's important to remember with Ren, is that he's just a 16-year-old kid who liked to play video games, and he's thrust into this situation, right?
I will give you that. That is also important to consider. This isn't like some 30-year-old man. Like, this is someone who,
it's a kid
who couldn't even vote.
He could get taxed though.
this taxable, non-votable child has been put in life and death situations. So I'll be a little bit more lenient on him with that. Like he is 16. And a lot of this was thrust upon him, which even Eclair states later, like this whole thing was thrust upon you, but we'll get there.
And even then, you know, in defense of Rin, I guess, not really in defense, but just kind of explaining more. Like it's like, okay, some of his stupidity in season 1 was probably kind of unwarranted. But at the same time, if you were in a world that was I mean, Kyle, it'd be like
you getting in Mushoku Tensei, that'd be crazy.
Be crazy. I mean, it'd be like if you were playing Dark Souls, and then like you were in Dark Souls.
No, please.
I mean, you would just assume that it's Dark Souls. I mean, it's just like me playing ESO. It's just like I would just assume that it's still ESO, and if like everything that I did in ESO still worked. Like, I just assume that it's ESO.
You're literally sending me to EBDB here.
Look. Okay. But, like, I can understand, like, how he was like, this is just a game.
Yeah.
Like, especially because, you know, his whole thing is to figure out, he's Kirin. Like that's not just a funny joke. Like, he is based off of Kirito. Like, he was sent to this world through a video game.
Yeah, through playing VR, and then he's
through his VR MMO.
No, like I get it. If someone was playing like Fallout or Assassin's Creed, and then like,
then they were sent to that. I mean, you wouldn't think anything of it. You just be like, yeah, no, I'm chilling. I'm big chilling.
Yeah. Ones and zeros, and then you realize it's not. And you're like, oh, I'm responsible for a lot of terrible, awful things.
And so his companions die, right?
Yep.
And he's obviously a little bit upset at that. He's a little bit in denial about that. Then, in all of this self-doubt and everything, Bitch comes to him. Now, my personal thoughts on Bitch aside, right? Looking at her character objectively, she is objectively extremely good at manipulating.
Yes.
Like, she is an extremely good liar. And the slave crest didn't activate.
Which, like, that's I want to know. I want to get that information revealed as to, like, why didn't it? Because that's a big mystery right now. Because she can, with that thing no longer working, foul demons are afoot, and she can just do whatever she wants, and that's not good.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funky, isn't it? And so I think that funky. Like, makes complete sense for Ren at the end of his rope, like fully down, whatever. She comes to him. The slave crest doesn't activate. She's telling him exactly what he wants to hear. This is this kid. I think it's completely believable for him to believe her. Especially over Naofumi, because no one in that state would want to hear the hard truth, you know? You'd always be more willing to listen to someone who's telling you what you want to hear.
Yes.
And so I think that that's, I think that the way that Ren's character is portrayed through this is actually really I really like the writing. I think that it's good. I think that it's good writing. The thing that I don't like is how Bitch just literally the night of steals his stuff and says see ya. Like that's not on Ren. That's not on the writing of Ren's character. I just don't like Bitch. Like I don't know how you feel about her, but like I dislike her, not like in a grr, she makes me so mad. Ooh, I wanna see her get what's coming to her. I don't like her, and like I don't want her in the story. Like she served her purpose. Why is she still around? I don't. Oh, she is so annoying in a bad way to me. Like I don't know. That's a bit of a side tangent. I did not like how she just stole his stuff and then left. It's like you have this chick who's manipulated two of the heroes. She's manipulating a third, and all she does is just steal his stuff for some money. Like, then do a little bit more with that. Do a little bit more with that. You have Ren wrapped around her finger. If you're gonna keep her in the story, do something more with her. That's my thought on that. Then after that, he's being chased by our favorite jobbers. He goes into a random person's house and they're like, "We hate you. You're so stupid and you're terrible and we despise you." Then his Gios activates. And we see that Rin goes, he kills some bandits because he's officially he's gone past his rope. He is off of the off of the deep end. He's in the 13-foot pool water, and he is just belly flopped off of the high board. And he activates curse series. He unlocks a curse series. Greed, not just one, it's 2. Gee, Rin, you're so special. How come you get 2 curse series? Greed and gluttony. And so it's like, oh dang, this is the first time we've seen another hero get a curse series. Because Naofumi obviously got wrath, but we haven't seen another hero get a curse series other than Naofumi. And so it's like, well, that. And so we get to see then we're in the present, and Rin is very clearly out of his mind, not thinking straight at all. He's like, I just gotta get stronger. We know that from Naofumi that whenever a curse series is active on a hero, they can't think straight. Like whenever the curse series on Naofumi was active, he could only focus on his hatred. So in the same way, Rin could only focus on his greed of I need to get stronger. I'm going to get stronger. I'm going to be the strongest. And so I like that. Some fun little action scenes. Motoyasu's based. We get to see that Rin gets absolutely clowned on. By Raftalia and Eclair, but we also get to see his abilities, some of them. Anyways,
I have
his
a question.
Guillotine on Naofumi, and yes.
Quick. Is Raftalia stronger than Eclair? Okay, it was interesting to me then how as the episode progressed,
I would say probably from a pure swordsmanship standpoint, no abilities, whatever, same stat numbers, whatever. From a pure swordsmanship ability, Eclair is, I don't want to say top 1, but I'm kind of going to say top 1.
Pure skill, yeah, but
at least of the of the characters off the top of my head that have appeared recently in the season, I'm not going to claim Eclair as top 1 entire series sword skill because I simply don't know enough to make that claim.
Then what? Oh, sorry.
Eclair is at least of the characters that matter at this point, top 1 sword skill.
Then I would say it's interesting how as the episode progresses and Ren gets supposedly stronger, it's interesting how the protagonists kind of step down the ladder in terms of strength to fight him. Naofumi being what I would call the strongest one of that main group there, stops fighting him, and then it's okay, one step lower you have Raftalia, then one step lower than that you have Eclair, and while they're just stepping aside, weaker, Ren's getting stronger and stronger and still getting walked all over, which is pretty interesting to show just how weak he is in the grand scheme right now.
Yeah, no, especially when later it's compared to Motoyasu, who's used the power-up methods that Naofumi has said, and it's clear that Motoyasu is kind of extremely strong now.
We'll get. Don't you worry. We'll talk about our favorite jobbers in a moment.
I love those guys so much. But yeah, so we get to see Ren and he's doing stuff. He has a nice conversation with Clara, which I like. She's like, what do you want? He's like, I want to get stronger. He says, so I can save the world. And she's like, no. She said that's what was forced upon you. What do you want?
What do you want to do, buddy?
It's like that. I really like that. I really liked that. I like, for how kind of little she shows up, compared to other characters. She's been around. I like Eclair. I do like Eclair. And I like this question being posed to Rin, kind of trying to get him back into his right mind. I will say I think the way that he went out was kind of lame, where she just used one skill.
Yeah, I was laughing. I laughed.
I was like, that's kind of lame. Funny, it's a Shield Hero episode. Watch him say it's been forever since he read the light novel. I feel like I remember that having more weight in the light novel.
Preface the scene because they're in the middle of fighting, right? Eclair's Naofumi, I want to 1v1 this guy. I want to run the ones. I want to do it. So she walks up to him, and that's when he awakens his second curse series, right? Where he had greed, and then he's all right, gluttony. He makes this
I think he had both of them. It's just that's the first time he was using gluttony.
So, like, she walks up to him. He pulls out this like gluttony. You know, the whole ground turns into like this murky kind of like swamp with like poison bugs and creatures crawling up. And it's like, oh, that's cool. And then she just says, multi-thrust. And he's like, I've been defeated. It's like, it was kind of lame. Like, they could have done more with it. It would have been cooler if she just, like, teleported right behind him and then, like, he fell over with, like, a slash mark on him. Like, how much faster she was than him. It was just, like, multi-thrust and then, like, the multi-thrust animation. And then it's just like, dang it, I lost. And it's like, that was
like, I mean, that's how he's defeated in the light novel, but also, like, it had more weight in the light novel.
Yeah, it could have had more
everything around it. Animation could have been a little bit better. I don't know. That's kind of nitpicky. That's kind of nitpicky there.
I mean, no, it definitely was lame. I'll say it. It was kind of lame, but like the interactions that they had, and then the little scuffle beforehand was cool. But then just like the finale to the fight, it was lackluster. It was the lackluster finale to the
dialogue was fine, where she's like, you want to get strong so you can take back what you've lost.
I mean, like the action.
Yeah, with the axe, yeah. No, it could have been better. Could have been better.
They do that, and then everybody's favorite jobbers show up.
So much. They show up. They get jobbed by Motoyasu. They really try to third party this.
Away, which shows like, because I remember them being like utterly annihilated beforehand, and then it's like, oh, okay, their souls escaped, and so that's how they were able to come back.
Before Raftalia cut them up.
Yeah, Motoyasu cuts their souls after. Motoyasu is cool. Where, like,
no, Raftalia cuts their souls.
Raftalia cuts their souls.
Okay. No, Motoyasu is the one who exploded them. Made the giant meteor disappear. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
that was kind of cool.
Because now Fumi saw that and he goes, Wallahi, I'm finished. Please save me, son. And then he goes, yes, father. And then he stabs the one guy who's summoning the meteor and just
blows him.
And then, decapitates the other guy. But, like, why were they so fucking strong in the first place? I don't get it.
They were done a lot better in the light novel.
They were done dirty here. I'll say that. Like,
they were absolutely done dirty. I remembered them from this scene in the light novel. Like this is where whenever we saw them earlier, I was like, are those the guys from the end fight with Rin that come in? I
didn't remember.
Yeah, one, their designs suck, which we talked about.
Yeah.
Not a fan of their design. But it's like, I'd have to reread it, but I feel like I remember them doing more. And if nothing else, in this final fight, I feel like I remember them doing more than just coming in and getting immediately jobbed by Motoyasu. I don't know. I don't think that it's a stretch to say that the anime kind of pulled these guys. I mean, this wasn't like a 50-yard touchdown pass. This was like a 5-yard screen, like on a 4th and 7. But like, could have done a little bit more. You could have stretched it out and gotten the extra 2 yards. Like, yeah, you kind of fumbled the ball on this one. I don't know. I think their portrayal could have been better. Because I mean, as we discussed last episode, right? It's an important concept that they bring in. This is an important concept that they start and that we get to see with. And then Motoyasu's based. I love Motoyasu. What do you think, Kyle?
I like Motoyasu being Motoyasu. I don't really have too much to say on the ending of the episode other than that. I mean, it was fine. Like I said, it's probably gonna take some warming up to Ren. Like, it was, after talking about it more, my opinion on the episode's improved, but I would still say it comes with the territory of like, I'm probably just gonna have to try to get more on board with Ren before I start liking him in his episode. Because okay, the one thing that I always think of with like redeemable characters is if you want to redeem a character of sorts or whatever similar wording, you got to make sure that their low point and like the worst that they've done is at least, you know, not completely crossing any thresholds, like any lines that like you couldn't come back from. And I think his meets that criteria in the way of like he was just reckless and made a lot of mistakes and wound up getting people hurt and killed in the process. And it's him struggling with it. I think there's potential there for me to like him, and I am invested to see where that goes with Ren.
Go. The episode worked, I guess.
The episode did its job. And
Crazy.
I'm on the fence with Ren. I'll say that. I'm on the fence, but I'm willing to give him a shot from
Hey,
here
that's
on.
where you need to be. That's where you need to be.
Yeah.
Where Naofumi is. Dude, you're literally Naofumi.
At some point, I also just want someone to show up and just kill bitch. I mean, I at this point, I don't even remember her real name. Like, that's all I know her by.
That is her real name. Legally, that's her real name.
Oh, hey, true. I meant like pre-trial season 1.
Doesn't matter. Who cares?
I guess
I know I don't.
I guess it doesn't. What's her like traveler name?
Oh, slut.
Or okay.
Or horror. It probably depends on the subtitles. It's probably the same.
Yeah.
Probably, the word in Japanese can probably be translated either way.
That you hear him say wahor. But yeah. I'm excited to see where they go with Red, and that's kind of all that I really have to say about it for now.
No, I think that this was a solid episode. You know, wasn't
It's
the worst.
No
I'd say
JJK animation.
probably wouldn't be the best of my favorite of season 3 so far, but yeah, it was super solid.
It passed the test. It did its job.
If every episode of the anime was like this, I'd say the anime was successful.
Mm-hmm.
There are worst episodes, but that is a topic for another time. Hopefully, episode 7 is either the same quality. You always kind of want it to be better. You can always hope for better quality, and hopefully not worse. But I guess we'll just have to see then. So if you're this far in the episode, then obviously there's something you like. So make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling us what your favorite part of this episode was. Thank you all for watching. We hope that you all enjoyed, and we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.